New Jersey, Canada.
Hello, awesome developers. Today we are going to complete our social media application by using full stack approach. Previously, we have made the design and REST API for this attractive platform. Today we are going to integrate both server and client side. So you will learn how to perform routing on client side using React Router version 6, how to do global state management using React Redux Store, and for bonus, how to persist the store state even after you refresh the page, how to authenticate with JWT authentication tokens, how to use Redux Thunk middleware in our actions for asynchronous performance. And still there is many more to learn in this project. This course is going to be the best burn stack course over the YouTube. Let's get started. So in the previous part, we have made this server folder and initialized our REST API completely. And the first part was this design part. So I am opening my VS Code here in the parent directory. And first of all, I will change the name of our starter pack as client. So now we can easily see that this is our server side belongs to REST API and this is our front end part. Okay. Now in the previous part, I I just found that we have messed up our login and sign up page. So I am going to initialize my client side. So cd client and here write yarn start. Also, I am running my server side by side. So making an other terminal and cd server and here write npm start. So our server is running and here our client side is also running successfully. Now let's just close the terminal and inside the client side I am going to the pages and then inside the auth.jsx. So here I am first of all going to make some changes. Instead of making this login component, I am just deleting this and I am going to my sign up this and just copy the entire div copy this and paste this just below the web name. So here it is, and I should make a comment so we can easily find out. Here this will be the right side, and this is going to be the left side with the logo, just like this. Okay, now I can easily just remove this login function. I am just going to delete. This, so let's just delete this like this. Okay, as you remember, we have to render both the login and the sign up page. So for this reason, here I am going to make a use state const so here I am first of all going to make some changes. Instead of making this login component, I am just deleting this, and I am going to my sign up this and just copy the entire div. Copy this and paste this just below the web name. So here it is, and I should make a comment so we can easily find out. Here this will be the right side, and this is going to be the left side with the logo. just like this. Okay, now I can easily just remove this login function. I am just going to delete this. Function. I am just going to delete this. So let's just delete this like this. Okay. As you remember, we have to render both the login and the sign up page. So for this reason, here I am going to make a use state const is sign up and their set is sign up, and this is going to be the use state. So inside the use state at the start it will be false. Okay, so this means if is sign up is false, then we are rendering our login page. So here I am going to declare a condition. I will say is sign up is true, then render sign up text like this, and if it is false then render login. Like this. Okay, so now let's save this and have a look. Okay, so I should also change inside the app.js. Here inside the app, so let's just delete this like this. Okay, as you remember, we have to render both the login and the sign up page. So for this reason, here I am going to make a use state const is sign up and their set is sign up, and this is going to be the use state. So inside the use state at the start it will be false. Okay, so this means if is sign up is false, then we are rendering our login page. So here I am going to declare a condition. I will say is sign up is true, then render sign up text like this, and if it is false then render login like this. Okay, so now let's save this and have a look. Okay, so I should also change inside the app.js. Here inside the app.js, instead of this I should delete this, of course. Okay, so just delete this and make this out of comment. Let's save, and here see we have the login text because our condition is according to is sign up variable. The first name and last name fields are required when we have to render the sign up form. So in the login form it is not required, so I will say is sign up true. So just make to ampersand sign, and I am just copying this div completely, control X, and then here control V, and of course I have to make this div inside the condition. Let's format the code. Okay, now let's save and see. So we have no first name and last name inside our login form. Similarly, we don't want this confirm password field, so I will go to the confirm password field, and again just make a condition is sign up true, then ampersand, and this will lie inside the condition. Let's save this. And see here we don't have our confirm password field. Now our last task is to change the text of this sign up button, because there should be now login. So again here there will be a condition which is saying is sign up, then there will be the text of sign up, and if it is not, then there will be a text of login. Let's save and see. So now there is login button, it's working fine, but we forget to change this text. So in the login form it should say about the sign up. So I am searching for the sign up text. Okay, here I am making again a condition. Everything will lie inside the condition is sign up, and if it is true, then I am rendering this text for the login, and if it is not, don't have an account, sign up. So just like this, let's save and see. So it's saying don't have an account, sign up. So let's say I change my variable of is sign up to the true. So true, and now I have this sign up form. Okay, this change of form should be done on clicking this text. So here I will say on click, on click. Click, there should be an function executed, and inside the function I will say set is sign up. First of all, it will take the previous value as the parameter and change it into the negation of previous value. So now let's try. I'm clicking this, and now it is login form, and now it is sign up form. Moreover, for the styling here, I will write the style, and the cursor will be like the pointer like this. So it is giving an error, I think. Okay, it is giving error because I have already declared the styling before. So just copy this here and paste it by placing a comma. Let's save and just delete this. Now see the results if I click this, and then so yeah, this is looking really nice. It's time to handle the inputs inside our form. Let's go to the VS Code, and I should format the code. Okay, first we should check that either we have the names of our input properly or not. So first name, last name, this is correct, and similarly username, and the password, the confirm pass. So I think our all the inputs are having the correct name. So to handle our inputs, I will also handle this according to use state. So here I am making form data, or you can simply just say the data and then say the set data. Okay, so at the start this data is going to be a null object. Basically, instead of null object, what I will do, I will give it some key values, and these key values will be the names of our inputs, as I have mentioned here. So this is a kind of initial state for our use state. Okay, here I will say it will have a first name, and the value of first name will be nothing. Then the last name with nothing, and the password, all the possible inputs I am writing here, and the confirm pass, again it will have nothing. Okay, I think I have forget one input, which is the username. So username just like this. Now I have to write a function to handle the change in our inputs and put the values of our inputs inside this object. Here I will write const handle change, and it will be a function. And first of all, it will take an event as a parameter, as we know that all of our form lies inside this form. Okay, and this form should be submitted on clicking our last button here, because this has the type submit. Okay, but this is not our concern right now. Our concern right now is with the input fields, that how to reflect the change in our inputs to our use state hook here. So therefore I am writing a function handle change, which is taking the event as a parameter, and I'll say set data. First of all, I will destructure my previous data like this, and then inside square brackets write e dot target dot name, and the value will be e dot target dot value, like this. Okay, so the reason why I am setting data like this is because if I don't use this convention, then we have to make handle change for every input separately. But by doing the e.target.name, now we can use a single function for all of our inputs. Okay, so now in each input write on change. So on change there will be executed handle change. Let's copy this, paste it. Here, and similarly now below the password, and also below the confirm password. Okay, now let's check if we are having the correct value inside our use state hook So there I am using extension named as React Developer Tool. You can easily find it on the Google Store. So by the way, I will remove all these warnings by giving a key prop to our iterating components. But now let's ignore this. And here inside the component, which is the extension and auth, here I have a state. And now let's write something in our input. Let's say zen and rk zen at the rate gmail.com zin. Let's have a look. And here we have our password. Password, confirm password, first name. Okay, so why this first name is not working correctly? Because here we have forget to write the R. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, there should be an R. Now let's save and try again. So here I'm refreshing my page. Let's write zen. Okay, rk zen at the gmail.com zen. Let's have a look. And here we have all the fields filled properly. Now to hide this password field, there is a very simple trick to make this hide. Here, instead of writing text, write the type as password and similarly here write that text as password. Let's save this, and now you can see they are just the dots. We are unable to see them, which is a normal behavior of password fields. So our next task is when we hit the sign up button here, then our program should check whether our password and set password fields are same or not. And if they are not same, then we should see an error below the confirm password field. So let's go to the VS Code, and here below our use state, I am again making an other use state with the name confirm. Okay, confirm pass, and with the set confirm pass, and by default it will have a use state true, because by default we don't want to see any kind of error. Okay, let's save this. And here just below this div I am going to make an other span, and inside this span it will say confirm password is not same, mean there is an error. Okay, so now I have to render it upon checking the condition of our use state hook. So there can be two types of method. The first method is that I can place this kind of condition here also, and the second method if I change its styling. Okay, so here I am making its display according to our confirm password state, that if it is true then there will be nothing, and if it is false then the display will be like the blob. So as you can see, now we are seeing nothing, and if I just make it false, like if I just make it false like this, so here our text confirm password is not same. Give it some kind of styling. Here inside its style, I will give it a color of red, means it is a warning, and a font size of 12 pixels, which will be enough. Align self, and I think so flex end because it was in the center, and also there should be a margin from the right, so I am giving a margin of 5 pixels, so it will be aligned properly. Let's format the code and let's save this. Here we have our confirm password no same, and it's looking very pretty now, but still we have not made the functionality of checking it on hitting the sign up button. As we know that the button has type submit, and if like this, so here our text confirm password is not same. Give it some kind of styling. Here inside its style, I will give it a color of red, means it is a warning, and a font size of 12 pixels, which will be enough. Align self, and I think so flex end because it was in the center, and also there should be a margin from the right, so I am giving a margin of 5 pixels, so it will be aligned properly. Let's format the code and let's save this. Here we have our confirm password no same, and it's looking very pretty now, but still we have not made the functionality of checking it on hitting the sign up button. As we know that the button has type submit, and if it has type submit, then form should have a prop which is on submit. So on submit, I will call a function handle submit, which will submit our form towards the backend server. but before it we have to check our password validity. So const handle submit a function, and inside this function first of all I am making an event as prop and e dot prevent default, so our page will not redirect it to another page which is a default behavior, and I have to prevent this. After this I will check if the is sign up. Okay, if the is sign up form is rendering, then check the password from our data is same to the confirm password state from our data. So this all should be in a check. Therefore I am giving it an if condition, then do nothing, and if it is false means the password and the confirmed password state is not same, then the set confirmed pass as the false. Okay, so and by default it should be true. So let's save. And see, okay, there is an error. Okay, because it is expecting a type of functionality here, so I am just removing this whole thing, and here I will say if it is not same like this, then execute set confirm pass as the false. Now let's save this, and here let's write and
Ja. Ja, ja.
anything and sign up. So this is our confirm password is not same. Okay, let's log in. So there is an error while we are switching our mode from login to sign up and sign up to login. The text fields are not clearing by themselves, and this confirm password state is also here, and this is not a default behavior. Therefore I am making an other function here, and the function is reset form. Okay, so an arrow function, and I love arrow function. I don't know why, but I just love the syntax of arrow function. Okay, when this function is executed, first of all it will set our set confirm password state as true, and our data will be just like the initial state. So our initial state was this one. So just copy this and paste it here. So let's save, and we also have to call this function while switching. So I am going to, so here on this condition of on click method, I am saying after doing this work I should also have to do an other thing. So just make it a proper function. Because
Oh my gosh, stop.
otherwise will give an error, and here say reset form. Now let's save and see there is an error. If I log in, then everything is clear. Okay, but still I have these values in my inputs. So what can I do? For each input, here I will say the value of each input will be equal to data dot the name of input. So password. And okay, that was confirm pass. So confirm, and then the pass. Now I have set all the value as our use state values. So let's save this, and now I'm refreshing the page. Here I have these things, and let's say password is not correct. I am trying to make the password as confirm password not same. Go to the login, and fields are clear, and fields are clear. So that is the behavior that we are expecting. It's time to connect our sign up and log into our backend. And for this, we have to make a complete setup of our Redux store. And don't be panic. I am going to guide you step by step of Redux store setup. Let's get started. So basically in Redux state management, we have all our states, basically the global states in a store. These states are stored by the reducers. Means the state of type 1 will be stored in reducer 1, the type 2 will be in reducer 2, and so goes on. The next question is how these reducers get the state. These reducers seek for a specific action to change or to make a new global state. And following this pipeline, the action can receive a state from two sides, either from a React component or from an API. So overall, let's revise. The API is sending a new state towards the action, and action is sending this request to the reducer. If we talk about our React component, so our React component receives the global states from the store. And now if any component wants to manipulate any type of global state, then it will call a specific type of action. So this is the total setup of Redux store. This is my advice for you guys. If you are feeling yourself too much confused, then don't be panicked. Just take a screenshot of this image and take it side by side. During the tutorial, if any step you find yourself lost, then just visit this picture and clear your thoughts. Let's move on. So now to set up the Redux store in my application, I have to install some packages. So these packages are, first of all, I am going into the client folder, and here install npmi redux thunk and react redux like this. I have already installed this, therefore I am not pressing the enter button, but you can simply install them by writing npmi redux thunk react redux and so on. So after installing them, here I have to import a dispatch hook, which is from the React Redux. So I am saying dispatch use dispatch like this. I think I have to import it manually. Import use dispatch from React Redux. Okay. So here I have imported the hook, and there is the instance of our hook. Now, how I am going to use this? While submitting the form, now I can change these conditions as I predicted. Here I will say if data dot password is equal to data dot confirm pass. Okay, then dispatch our action. As I have declared you in the visual of our React Redux, I mean in the image of our React Redux, that our component is interacting with the actions. So here I am going to interact with the action of our React Redux. I know we have not set up any type of actions and reducers and store, but let's follow me and see how I am going to make all of them step by step. So here I am going to dispatch an action of sign up that we are going to make, and I am sending the data of my form as a parameter. Now, if the password and confirm password is not same, then I will say set the confirm password as false. So let's format the code, and here you can see, of course there is an error because we have no action of sign up. But before making the sign up action, let's first clear this logic. And else there is no sign up means our form is a login form. Then dispatch an action, and inside this action I am calling the login action, and here I am also sending the data. This is as simple as that. Now let's make our actions. So I'm closing all the directory inside the client inside the src, make a folder with the name actions. Inside the action, here I am making another file auth action.js. Inside the auth action, I will say export const login. Let's first make the functionality of login, and the form data is as a parameter that I have received from our auth.jsx component, and this will be an async call to our Redux hunk. So therefore here I am writing dispatch, and then this is again a fat arrow function. I know this convention is little bit crazy, but you have to remember this every time making actions. So here we have to interact with our API, which will call an endpoint to our server for the login. So basically here if I write const, and I will receive data from my endpoint, and I will say await auth API that we have not made yet, and inside API call the login function and pass is the form data. So now
Oh my gosh, stop doing that.
we have no API to make this request. Let's make an API folder inside the src, and I'm just saying it as API, and inside the API I am making a file auth request.js. To work with the request, we have to install a package. So just here write npm I here. This package is basically used to make requests to our server side. Before using the Axios, we have to make some changes in our package.json. Otherwise, our application will show errors. So I will go to my package.json, and here we have to declare a proxy for our server side. So I am saying the proxy means proxy is a type of URL that is accepted by our application to interact, because if we allow all the URLs to interact with our application, then there will be a lot of vulnerabilities. So to avoid this problem, here we have to declare a proxy inside the package.json, and our proxy is http and localhost 5000, just as this. So it's very simple to add a proxy. Let's save the package.json. Now inside my
Wait, it's just 5,000, isn't it?
my auth request, here I am importing a package Axios from Axios, like this. Now I have to make a file for our API, and inside API I will say axios.create with the base URL of our proxy, which is the. So here I have given a base URL for our API, means every time we make a request, then it will call our 5000 port number. Okay, now let's make a function for login. So here I will say export const login is equal to form data which we will receive from our action, and API will make a post request as we have made in our controller, and our path was the authentication part with the login endpoint, and here the data is as the request.body data. Till now, our API request is completed for the login. Now I have to import this login inside my action. Let's save this, and inside the actions, now inside the authentication action, I am importing these auth request as an API. So I will say import all as auth API from, I should go outside and then inside the API and then auth request. Just simple as that. Okay, so now we have this function. As we are interacting with the database, so here we should write a try catch block. So this is a try catch block. And I am making this request inside the try block, and of course, as we have for the error will be console log error. But still there is something missing, that till now we have not interacted with our global state management, means the state that are in our store. As we know that to store the states in our store, we have to interact with the reducers. So to interact with the reducer, before calling my API endpoint, here I will say dispatch a reducer with the type of authentication start. This means we are telling our reducer that authentication has been started. And after this, here I will tell my reducer that the authentication has been completed. So authentication complete, or you can simply say as, which is a more general convention, authentication success, like this. And with the authentication success, I will also pass the data of success fully authenticated. And in case of any error here, I will again call my authentication reducer, and I will say as type authentication and fail. So this is a very simple scenario of our action, that first of all we are telling our reducer that authentication has been started. After receiving data from server side, I am telling my reducer that authentication has been successful, and then I am telling if there is an error, then authentication has been failed. It's time to make a reducer to handle these dispatch functionalities. But before making those reducers, first of all, let's fix our authentication.js. As there is an error, so I am removing these 2 to 3 words and calling again sign up. So it should auto import, and there is an error that it is not auto importing sign up because we have not made sign up in our authentication action. Okay, so this is natural. So login should work fine. So if I again write login, so here it is saying that login is available in authentication request and authentication action, and we have to call it from authentication actions. So let's save this. Of course there will be an error for the sign up, so let's make an API request for the sign up function. So here I am just copying this and just pasting this, and here write sign up like this, and all the data should be same. And there I am just writing register because that was our endpoint. By the way, you can visit your endpoints again by going to Thunder client, and here we have our all the requests. Inside the auth request, this is our register request. So as you can see that this is auth register. So similarly here I have pasted the URL. Now let's make an action for the sign up. So I am just copying our login and here paste it like this. And now here instead of login I will say sign up, like this, because here I am exporting all of my functions in the auth API as the star, so they all are available. Now here instead of login I will write as sign up. So this is also complete. Let's save it, and here I am just auto importing it by writing sign up for the authentication actions. So now it's time to make our reducers that will be connected as here we are interacting with our reducers by dispatching a specific type of actions, and we don't have any reducers yet. So inside the src I am making another folder with the name reducer. Inside the reducers I am making a file with the auth reducer.js. In the auth reducer.js we will contain every data related to a user information. So here I will say auth reducer, and it will be a function that will carry a state, and inside the state first of all we have some authentication data, and by default it will be null, means at the start of application the loading of the data will be false at the start, and error will be also false, just like this. So now with the state there will be also an action. This action basically will be telling us that which type of reducer we have called from the actions, and inside the reducer which type of action is called. So here I am making it an arrow function as we always do in our JavaScript. So just format the code. Okay, so here it is an error of the auth data because here I have put an equal sign. So now let's format the code again. Okay, now you can see it betterly. Now inside the function, first of all I will make a switch statement, and this switch statement will be depend on action dot type. Okay, so inside the switch first of all I will make a case for authentication start. So here inside authentication start I am just copying this string authentication start and pasting it here like this. So when authentication start action will start, then it will return our previous state. So I am just spreading it, making loading as true and error as false. And we should also make a default case, otherwise it will continue to give this yellow line. So by default it will return our state as it is inside our parameters, this one. Okay, so our second case was authentication successful. So I am again going to just copy this from here, authentication success, just copy this and paste it here, and it will return the previous state, and our auth data will be changed on success. Our auth data will be the new data that is carried in our action. So inside the action it is carried inside the data key, because here inside the auth action we can see that we are sending our authenticated data as the data key member. So here I am receiving it from my action as action.data. Now loading will be false because we have successfully retrieved the data, and error will be also false. Let's format it again, and it's time to make our last state of reducer, which is the authentication fail. So to make this last state, here I will say case authentication fail inside the actions. I am just copy this and paste it here like this, and in this case I will simply return my previous state by spreading it, and the loading will be false because we have reached some endpoint, and error will be true because at this state we will only reach when there is an error from our server side, so error will be true. Let's save this. So now we have successfully made our authentication reducer, but there is one thing that we should do while making our authentication success, that as we are saving our data inside our authentication data key of our authentication reducer state, I will also save our authenticated data in my local storage. So for storing the data in local storage, I will say local storage dot set item, and item will be set with the key value of profile, and then json dot stringify our action dot data, as this is the data that is sent by our authentication action after a successful endpoint. We can also apply here a chain operator because we are not always sure that we have received our data. So therefore, if the data is available, then it will be stored in our local storage. So I should make a text small so it will be visible. Yeah. Okay. So it is just enough. Now let's format the code again. Here you can see I am storing the data in my local storage. But the reducers are not just enough the files of different type, means the authentication reducer, post reducer. There is a common file of all the reducers from which the reducers are accessible inside the actions. So let's make it. Inside the reducers, I should again follow the directory. Here inside the reducers, we have to make an index.js. Okay, and this index.js is specified for all the reducers in our application. Here I am importing a package called combine reducers from Redux. Okay, this will combine all the reducers we have made in our project. Now I have to import my auth reducer. So I am auth reducer from I think so, yes, like that. I just think that we are not exporting our authentication reducer from auth reducer.js. Export default. Auth reducer. This is our basically the main function of authentication reducer, and let's save this. And now inside the index.js, after this I am making a common file for all the reducers and telling it as reducers simply, and then combine reducers, and inside the combine reducers let's include our authentication reducer. Now let's save this. Okay, it's time to make a store. Basically inside the store we will hold all our states. So here I am just closing src and I am making a new folder. Inside the store I am going to make a file which is the redux store.js. So inside redux store.js I am just simply pasting some code. Okay, so what is the purpose of this code and why I am not explaining this code line by line to you? Because every time you are going to make a redux store in your application, the code is going to be the same for every project. You may see many other types of methods to make redux store on YouTube and in many more blogs, but why I am using this such a long method? Because the bonus part of this is that with making the store available for our reducer, it is also making our reducer persisted. Mean whenever you refresh the page, your state will not be lost. They will be in your local storage. So I am going to give you an overview of this code. That first of all, here I am importing some important packages from the Redux to make us. Store, and inside these packages there is an apply middleware package also, because we have to apply our Redux thunk middleware. Okay, so here I have imported my Redux thunk middleware for the asynchronous performance, and here all our reducers. Let's I double check that it is in the same directory reducers, and inside the reducer there is index.js. So yeah, this is all the way correct. Okay, after this, here we have function to save our states inside the local storage. So it is just serializing all of our data available in the store, as we are passing it in a parameter and giving it to our local storage. And in the load from local storage, as it is obvious from the name, we are retrieving our data from the local storage. So Redux middleware for the asynchronous performance, and here all our reducers. Let's I double check that it is in the
Actually crazy, bro. All the stuff that's happening right now, it's very hard for the grasp on. Not gonna lie, dude. It's very difficult, very hard, very hard, very hard. Almost as hard as being the previous president of the United States. Very, very, very difficult, very difficult, very difficult, very, very, very difficult, very difficult, very difficult.
same directory
I wish
reducers,
I could stay
and
with
inside the reducer there is
MongoDB, but
index.js. So yeah, this is all
we
the way
gotta
correct.
get
Okay.
better.
After this, here we have function to save our states inside the local storage. So it is just serializing all of our data available in the store as we are passing it in a parameter and giving it to our local storage. And in the load from local storage, as it is obvious from the name, we are retrieving our data from the local storage. So now there is our enhancer, that is a method to make the store available for our Redux dev tools. And inside this line of code, I am making my store, as this is a very common function to make a Redux store. Here I have given my all the reducers where the states lie, and there is a persistent state of our local storage. And here I have applied my thunk middleware. Okay. Now our store is subscribing to our local storage, means every time there is a change in our store states, then the change will be reflected in our local storage. And finally, I am exporting my store. Now we have to make this store available for our application inside the project. So to make this available, I am opening my index.js of client side. Okay, there are two methods to open these long directories by going manually, and there is another method to search for the same file index.js. Okay, so let's close this and just enter Control P and write index.js. So here you can see I have found three index.js files, one from the server side, other from reducers, and this is from our client side, which is required file. So I am opening this. Now just remove this code.
We want the client side index.js.
And here write a provider, and this is a method of our React Redux. And here here it is providing a store which is coming from our Redux store file. So just close this component, and here I have to wrap all of my app inside this. Okay, let's format it. Now let's say save and see if our app is crashed or working fine. So let's try to make a request for the Now let's save and see if our app is crashed or working fine. So let's try to make a request for the server for register a new user. Let's say John. And
I'm just getting a blank page now. Darn it. Yes, 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 bro. Nice, such an easy fix, dude. Oh my goodness. Oh man, that's so awesome.
And here the username is John at the gmail.com, password simply John and then the password John. Let's sign up and see our network tab. So okay, there is an error already, the Axios error. Let's see in the network, and I'm going to send the request again, sign up, and here is the our request, why it is failed. So it is saying strict origin when cross origin. So the solution of this problem, I am going to index.js of my server side. Here I am going to install a package. So I am opening a new terminal and going to server side. Here write npm I course basically allow us to send requests through the cross origins, means we are sending requests from the port 3000 to the port 5000. Let's wait till it installs. So here it is installed now. Here just below the .env I am importing the course from the course, so just like this, and now I am configuring my app to use this course. So I will say app dot use the course policy. So let's save this, and our server should restart. To restart my server, here I am deciding rs, it will restart my server. So let's just wait. Okay, so now it is listening. Let's try to send our request again, and I will clear all of my network request. Now let's send it again, sign up, and here you can see our request has been successfully delivered to our server, and the response is can be seen in the final request inside the preview. Here you can see a new user has been returned from the server, and here you can see the password is now manipulated by our bcrypt library that we have made in our REST API part. Now let's try our login functionality. So I am going to, for the login, as I have made a John, so let's make a John and password was simply the John. Let's log in, and the request is again successful here. So inside the preview here you can see we have returned successfully a John user from our database. So both of functionalities are running successfully. Now it's time to see some changes on our UI. So here I want, when my request is pending, then there should be a text saying loading instead of this login button, and same for the sign up button. So I will go to the authentication.jsx, and here I will retrieve the loading state from the Redux store. So I am going to retrieve the, first of all, I am make a dispatch. Okay, so dispatch will be equal to use dispatch. Hook from our React Redux. Now I will say const loading, which is the part of our state, and I will say use selector, which is also a hook of our React Redux to fetch the global state. And here I will say from all state just fetch the state dot auth reducer. So auth reducer as was our function, and from this function just fetch the loading variable. So let's save this, and here I am again saying two errors because there are two times use dispatch. I have already made it, so let's just delete it. Okay, now before using this in our UI, I should just console log my loading variable. So here I am saying loading. Let's see in the UI what will be changed. During the login, I will say john@gmail.com with the password John. Now log in and see our console. So here it is false, false, and true, means it is working fine. Okay, so from where we are getting this loading, as we have made in our Redux store, and for more specific in our authentication reducer. So I should just open the authentication reducer. So here's our authentication. Here you can see inside our auth reducer function we have our loading key. So I am just fetching it by the use selector hook. And you should also know that on our authentication success, we are also storing the retrieved data in our local storage. So let's double check our local storage. I will go to the application, and inside the local storage. Here you can see first I have a profile because I have set up it here, the profile key, and I also have a store. Okay, so let's forget about store for now, just focus on the profile that we have made manually in our reducer. And in our reducer we have successfully stored the data of our user that has been retrieved, and same process will be repeated for the sign up function. Now to see the changes in the UI, I will go to the authentication.jsx here, and for our login and sign up button I have here. So I'll just say the condition will depend upon loading, and if the loading is true, then just return the value of loading string like this, and if it is not, then check the second condition. So if I watch it on my login page here, if I log in, then you can say it is saying login, and then it becomes again the login button. And I also want, when there is something loading and pending, then button should not be clickable. So to make it clickable, I am making a class in my app.css. So here inside app.css I have my button hover. So now I am making a button disabled. So on button disabled, I will simply make the background as silver, and my pointer events will be null, because by saying the pointer events null, the area becomes unclickable. So if I save this, and now I have to apply this class on my button. Here for the button I'll say disabled property will depend upon loading. So if loading is true, then disabled is true, otherwise button will be clickable. Now let's test it. Here if I log in, so now you can see how beautiful it goes into the loading and then it comes back, and similarly there will be for the sign up. So let's try it, and I think so I already have a user with the name Zan, but you can see that here it is signing up successfully. Now it's time to implement our JSON web tokens on our server side, and it is a very important and critical topic to understand. So I am opening my VS Code and just simply go to our auth controller in the server. Okay, so now while registering a user, I was just receiving the username, password, and some also field from the request.body. So now what I am going to do, I am just deleting this line of code. Okay, and why I have just deleted this, because I can simply use the request.body, because now I assumes you have a clear idea understanding by watching the previous part of our social media application that how the REST API works. So now we can take some kind of shortcuts. So inside the body, I just simply write request dot body, and to remove this error, we should remove the curly braces from both sides. Okay, now you will think how we can implement the hash password. So to implement the hash password, I will say request dot body dot password will be now equal to hash password, as simple as that. After this, I will fetch the username from the body. So username will be equal to request dot body, and I just notice that we are missing a functionality that we are not checking if the username is already registered on the same username or not. So to make this possible, before saving the new user, I will say const old user will be equal to await user model dot find by id, or you can just simply say find one, and find one where username is equal to that one we have exported from our request dot body. After this, I will make a condition that if old user is true, means if old user exists, then return from our controller with the response of status 400, like this. And inside the body, let's the username is already registered, so the new user cannot be registered on our platform. Let's save this, and let's hope there should not be any kind of error. Okay, there is an error that the okay, inside the JSON I should make an object by a key value pair. So now there should be removed. Our server is starting again, and now it is successfully started on the port 5000. Let's try to register the John user again. So here Zan RK, and let's say john@gmail.com, sign. And before signing up, let's clear our network tab. And here I am sending request, and inside network tab, okay, it is pending now, and here we have the error, and inside the error there should be a preview. So there I am not noticing any type of response. Let's see why. Okay, inside the server there is an error that we are using password and we have no kind of password in our controller. So yeah, here we cannot simply use password now. We should write request.body.password. Let's save it again and let's see our server should run properly. Okay, now it is running properly, and I'm going to send the request again. Before I should clear the network tab, let's sign up. Okay, so here it is saying username is already registered, means our endpoint is working very fine. It's time to implement our JWT, means JSON Web Token Authentication. So for to implement JSON Web Token Authentication, I am installing a package inside my server directory here. So I will install npm I JSON Web Token. So it will take some time. Let's wait. Okay, here it is installed now I should import the JWT from the JSON Web Token. Import JWT from JSON Web Token, and it's time to make a token. After saving a new user, here I am making a token, and for the token I'll say jwt.sign, and for the signature it will use the username of the newly registered user, so it will be available in the user. User.username, and from where we can get this new user. So I should have a response by saving, and let's say it is the user. So after saving the new user, it will also return us that user, and inside the token I am using that user for the signature. Okay, beside the username I should also use the ID of that specific user. And now it's time to pass some more parameter for our token. The second parameter is the secret key of our signature. As you can see here, it is saying secret or private key, and for now I'm just using secret key as mud. Okay, and the third parameter is the time limit of our token. I am saying expires in, and let's say 1 hour, means after 1 hour our token will be expired. The same user cannot use the same session after 1 hour. He or she should have to log in again. Okay, we cannot simply just use this string as openly in our controller. We should store it in our .env file. So inside the server, inside .env, and I should go to the next line, and here I will say JWT and key will be equal to MERN, and just copy the name from here. Let's save this, and now here we can see process dot. Let's save this, and we know after making changes in our .env we have to restart the server. So there is a server beside rs and it will restart our index. Okay, so I should send the response as something like this: the new user and the token. Okay, so now the user and the token will be stored in our local storage and in our Redux store. Let's try to do this. So here I am going to make a new email. Let's say eric at the rate gmail.com and eric. Okay, and then eric. Let's sign up here. Okay, so there should be a response. Okay, so it is returned correctly, and in the response we have also a token that is expected. And now inside the application, for the profile we have a token and a user data, and same for our authentication store. Inside the authentication reducer, authentication data has two values. This means we have made a successful deployment of our token generation at the server side. Let's move on for the login side. So for the login, here it was controller to handle all the login requests. And let's make this situation more simple for you guys. Okay, in simple terms, I am saying if there is no validity, means the decryption of our password as stored in the database with the password that has been received from the user is not valid. Then simply send a response of status 400, and inside the JSON let's simply say wrong password. And if it is not, then we have to do a lot of work, because in this case we have to implement all our JWT authentication. So instead of writing it again, I am just copying this token from here, copy this, and I am pasting it here. Okay, because I also have user, and I should, yeah, there is the user, because I also have user here, so our authentication token can take the username and the user ID. Now in the response, I will send response.status with the 200 code, means the okay, and in the JSON I am sending the user and my token. Now let's test this, and first of all let's see our server status. Is it running fine? So it is running fine here. Let's go to our UI inside the login, and again test for the John, and the password was John. Let's log in, and inside the network tab Now we have the profile with a new token, and I am confirming the new token because now we have a username john@gmail.com. For more confirmation, let's go to a network tab inside the login, and this request was accepted. Okay, so here the user and with the new token, and that was our payload with only username and the password. So now our JWT token generation has been deployed and our controller has been changed. Our next task is to implement routing on our client side, because we want whenever user successfully logged in or sign up, he or she should go to the home page of our social media application. So to do this, here I am going to the index file of my client side here. Now first of all, let's install the packages for the routing. So here I am going to the client side. Okay, and before going to client side I should go outside and then client, like this. Now here write yarn add react router dom and press the enter button. So here my react router dom package has been installed successfully. So now let's go into the index.js of our client side, and here below the provider I am routing browser router, and I have to import this from the React router DOM. So let's say browser router from React router DOM. Okay, with the browser router I have to import the routes, I think, and the route. So we are going to practically make this social media application according to the React router version 6, and inside the version 6 we are using these routes and route mechanism of routing, because switches are no more available in React router latest version. So let's format the code, and now simply remove this app component and make it inside the route. So routes now contain a route like this, and the path will be the most parent path, and we are declaring this as a star. And on the most parent, first of all, let's simply render the app component. Okay, I have to also close this route, so let's save this. Now go to the app.js. Our all the routing mechanism or the logic is basically held in the app.js. So now simply remove this authentication element, because now we are not rendering just by writing manually. We have to render them according to the routes. First of all, import all the important classes. Routes, route, and I think the last class should be the navigate, because we have to navigate from one page to another from the React router DOM. Now let's save this and here start to make the logic. First of all, there will be a parent class which will contain all the routes, and our first route is going to be the path with just a slash, and when someone hits only a slash on our social media application, then element will be rendered according to the availability of user in our React Redux store. So I am going to fetch the user from the use selector, and from the state let's go to the state dot auth reducer dot auth data. So now I am saying if the user is available means the authentication data is available, and there is a problem. I have written it inside return. It should be above the return. Okay. So if it is available, then navigate to the home page. So I will say navigate to the home directory. Okay, and if it is not available, then navigate to the authentication side. So navigate authentication route can be simply declared like this. Now I have to close the parent route component. Okay, after this the second route is going to be the path element. With simply home. If someone wants to go to the home page, then again we have to check the availability of the user. If user is available, then navigate, or instead of navigating we just simply return the element home. which is the home page inside our client side directory. And if it is not, then navigate towards the authentication side. So navigate to remove the previous path and append the authentication. Let's close navigate and close this route. The last route is going for the authentication page. Okay, so if someone is trying to go authentication on a authentication, I am again going to check the availability of user, and if user is available, then navigate towards the home route. So navigate towards the home. And if it is not available, then simply return the auth element like this. So I should close the parent route, let's save, and I have made a general formatting. So now you can see our complete logic. Let's try this. So here now we are on the home page. It has detected the logic that user is available in the application memory tab, but I want to give a practical view of login system. So I'll go to the application side and I'm deleting all the local storing key values, and let's refresh the page, and now we're on authentication side. Let's log in with the John. Okay, so John, and the password will be simply John like this. Now log in, and here we are on. on the home page. You can also try this for the sign up, but I am not going to again check it for the sign up because the tutorial is already very long. It's time to implement our shared component logic because I want when a user is login and he or she tries to share some kind of photo like this and press the
Oh my goodness, I'm messing everything up right now, dude. I can't stand it.
Hello. Press the shift.